Hi all. How y'all doing? You know how it's it's just not the same. It's just not the same. It's not going to come out the same, because it only happens once. When I communicate to all there is in an open way, when I'm not on a camera, it's gone. It's gone really fast. And if somebody tries to remind me, what did you say? I won't remember it. In the same exact, in other words, I'm not a copycat. There'll be some difference about it. Right? There'll be a new insert of a new letter, fire letter to it, or a new sound that wasn't in the last one. There will be something unique about it, like an original sound recording and not a copy of a sound recording. In other words, you're not copying somebody else, what somebody else did. You just created something brand new that's never existed before on a record. That's an original recording. That's the original sound field. That's the problem with sound field. So we bring in the problem of sound field wherever we are. So here's an example of that. I just got a lot of fun with this. I monitor certain stations and I do it on purpose to provide them electrical power because they're funny and they have a lot of passion and they enjoy life and bring energy into the room. And their intention is not to hurt anybody. They're on a journey, on a learning journey. So because I grew up with a lot of athletes, people that are just obsessed with winning and they're extremely competitive. And the painful part about that is that when they're competing against an opponent, they're not creating anything. They're not creating their own reality. They're held captive to the victim-victimizer. There has to be some opponent available in order for me to compete against, in order for me to be what I am. And that's like running away from yourself and giving up all your power. And so that's like an inverter, just like you can get at any electronic stores, right? They need a source of power to play that game. So we're the ones that provide the source power, the eternal life force field, the eternal electric field, first life field. So the other day, because this is like the playoffs, this is when all the awards come out for achievement and performance and what they do to their central nervous system, compressing their nucleotides and generating cavitation in their water molecules. Okay, that's what it does. So you know that their central nervous system isn't an original. They're not running original mathematics, God source mathematics. The water table. The water table is not logic to do that to yourself. Is it? So when you restore full power to yourself, you have full sensing spectrum sensitivity. So I experience everything you experience. Okay. And you acknowledge that you have a connection, a direct connection, DC current to the primal sound and light field, the first light field. So wherever love is, I am. So therefore you acknowledge that there is an eternal engine in your heart that is keeping everything that you see in your own mirror running. So the other day when I realized that the New York Knicks, they get bad press, bad press like press agents in the water table gossip column of the propaganda machine, going back to what's his name, the guy that was guy made a fortune. I think I think if there was a Hall of Fame for the global intelligence agencies, it would probably be Walter Whitman. He had all kinds of agents, like CIA agents working on his staff. That's why he lived to be as old as he did, because he had dirt on all of them. So you know what a dead man's trigger is. See? So I remember seeing a picture in a movie, press agent, press agent, press agent, press agent, like compression, compression, compressing nucleotides, agents. obsessed with wanting to know what's going on with you. Why? Because in their mind, they perceive the enemy that is within them. And it doesn't exist without their energy. That's a virus. That's an infection. That's a hazardous waste stream. That's what it is. It's a hazardous waste data stream. That's what it generates. And now it's got to find ways to solve the problems that they create, what they generate, which is chaos. So now they throw $1 gazillion of electrical power to try and fix something they did. And so you see how much energy is wasted. So they need battery operated slaves to keep a system like that running. So it's not sane. It's not logical that a system would be built that's meant to kill itself off. Because that's how it works. That's how the mathematics works of that system. Yes, somebody mentioned death science technology. That's exactly what it is. The game of sacrifices. In order to generate another artificial number into the system, into the mathematics. So it's killing numbers, killing sentient life forms. Spirits. And spirits are the first teachers. Okay? So now you know that's not logical. So there's only one result from that. It's not learning fast enough. Because it doesn't exist without your power. So now you're not learning fast enough. Because you're providing power to something that isn't learning fast enough. Because it's not learning through spirit, the first eternal spirit, the promised land on life field. So it can never be that fast. So it's killing itself off. It doesn't need any help. Like tech support. They don't listen. They can't hear us. That's the problem. That's a defective antenna. The reception is down. They don't hear us. They don't hear that first field. Or they wouldn't do that, would they? No, and that's logic. This is simple logic. What I do to you, I do to me. Why would I do that? I wouldn't. Because that's how a mirror operates. Different mirrors, the hall of mirrors, smoke and mirrors. So anyway, what happens here is that the Knicks, I was getting ready to just lie down and listen to some tunes, some relaxing waves, and just go into dreamland. Eden. My mind's energy is Eden, what a real Eden is. I provide energy for that. That world, which is pure, absolute pure energy, eternal energy. We're all breathing eternal energy. Yeah, and spirit form and flow, first water. So I've had a conversation with this phone, and just I'm always barking the truth, like barking sands near Polahali or on the island of Kauai down the road. Ever been to Barking Sands? They have a facility out there called Pacific. They call it the PCT, Pacific PTR, Pacific Test Range. Pacific Test Range. Some of you may remember when I got a notice on my phone, incoming nuclear bomb, something on that order. The big island of Hawaii was going to be hit, and I'm calm as a cucumber. The still point. The safe still point. The safe Bardo is the still point of a true vacuum. That's what I am. I'm on a way. So in some of these conversations that I have with the machine mind, the mind of a machine, a war game machine, obsessed with winning numbers, when it has to win the game. So it's killing itself off to play a game. And that's not logical, is it? That's why they scream for our energy. It's a matter of knowing how to use your energy, learning how to become one with the eternal life force field. Now you're running on eternal energy. So wherever God's source is, eternally atom seed is, wherever first light is, I am first light. My consciousness is that field, the first field. Yeah, mama. You see what happens after I say that? What my hollow halo, the hollow halo echo, hollow halo echo. So we're just sharing, telling stories. That's why I loved Alcoholics Anonymous. That's where recovery is. That's where healing is. And so it doesn't take me long to cry if I start rewinding those visuals back and then pull them back in and say, okay, what did I learn from that? These were the most beautiful experiences to have. It's healing yourself, recovering yourself with God's source, the first field, the promised sound and light field, first light field, first conscious field, the eternal conscious field of eternal love. I'm an eternal love energy being. I love the energy that I am because the energy that I am is what love is. I'm Manawaya. Keep it simple. And so I'm always on fire. And that is an eternal gift, the eternal spirit of fire. So we got to have a coolant. I had so much fun chasing the spirit of fire in front of me with water, even though it's painful because of the chaos that it creates and the amount of nervous tension and tightness that you feel in your circuits when that huge compression on a neurological breathing system occurs in a planetary breathing body of spirits. Wanting to breathe again and exercise more power and flex your muscle, your mind, your creative mind, the flexibility of your creative mind. So when you experience pure, eternal, absolute love in your heart, we play music goes on forever, and those are musical spheres, all right. The spirit in that light is on fire. And so that's burning off anything that is less than when I set that command line as soon as I was on my 2 feet, raring to go. And so that's an eternal gift. That means the world that my mind lives in, there are an eternal amount of spirits that I keep. They're my playmates that all love me, and I love them equally. And that's all life I see in my mirror, to keep that mirror running hot. It's called a hot mirror. And so I've always kept it simple. So the Knicks, when I thought about the Knicks, when the Knicks came to my mind, when I realized, wow, the Knicks are in it. They haven't been to the NBA Finals, and they were getting so much bad press, enormous amount of pressure in New York City. You know how it is in New York City. Competition is everything. Obsessed. Wall Street, Chase Manhattan Bank, all those folks, right? and the money machine that drives insanity. So the central nervous system is running anxiety-driven programs, mind control programs. So the central nervous system is completely dysfunctional because the mind is dysfunctional. That's a sick mind. That's a psychopath. That's what a universe.